Throwbacks with Derek J. Murphy, Chapter 1, Verse 2. What's good? Welcome or welcome back to Throwbacks, the place where we discuss the unexpected theology of old school hip hop and R&B. It's based on a book that I wrote a couple of years ago where I take songs that define my generation, songs that define my childhood in some way, some kind of song that would represent some particular time in my life. And we talk about the music and how it affected us and how it makes us feel, the lyrics, the video, the background of it. And then we take that song and we flip it to add inspiration, motivation, and value to our life because God can be found in some of the most unexpected places. And so I'm glad that you've joined me again for another episode of this great discussion because this is something that I want to keep going. I don't want to just limit it to the book. This is a conversation that deserves to keep going because I know it's people out there that love the music just like I do. And I want you to find the same value out of it that I found. And so thank you again for joining. If you're interested in the book, visit my website, derekjmurphy.com. That's DerekJMurphy.com and get you a copy of the book. And if you're interested in the music, you can find my Spotify link with the official Throwbacks playlist on Spotify right there in the show notes. And so let's connect. Let's build a community around this music that we love. And let's get right into it. 1991. 1991 is the year. Last week, we talked about bombs over Baghdad. But 1991 was the year that Congress actually authorized the use of military force to expel the Iraqi troops out of Kuwait. This was also the year that Whitney Houston blessed our country with her rendition of the U.S. national anthem at the Super Bowl 2025. The New York Giants won that Super Bowl, by the way. The Giants won that Super Bowl. 1991 also marks the end of apartheid after the South African Parliament repealed bans that didn't allow black people to own land. And so apartheid falls apart in that year, 1991. This is also the year that the Soviet Union dissolved and Ukraine declared its independence from the Soviet Union. In 1991, I was in fifth grade. Fifth grade, 15th Street Elementary School, had a somewhat of a high top fade. Tried to have a Gumby, Bobby Brown Gumby that just wouldn't quite stay up. I tried, but that's neither here nor there. 1991, and there was this group that hailed out of Cleveland, Ohio. Can anything good come out of Cleveland? Something besides LeBron, I'm not a LeBron fan, but can anything good come out of Cleveland? Well, this group comes out of Cleveland, Ohio, discovered by the late, great Gerald Levert. 4 members, Larry, Melvin, Buddy, and Joe. These guys were called the Rude Boys. Do y'all remember the Rude Boys? The Rude Boys were a typical R&B quartet, but they were made special with that Levert touch. They were mentored by Gerald Levert, and Gerald was even featured on the song that we're discussing today. I know you know what it is by now. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to say a word, baby. Yeah, you know the song. It's written all over your face by the Rude Boys. Now, this is definitely a memorable song. It's very catchy, and it's their biggest hit from their debut album, Rude Awakening. It was written by the group member Larry Marcus, but it had a special guest appearance in the ad libs by their mentor Gerald Levert. And I believe, I could be wrong, even as good as the song is, it's Gerald Levert that made it a hit. It's Gerald Levert that made it really, really memorable because that was the voice that we knew. It's very possible, as good as this song is, that it could have gone into obscurity had not Gerald Levert been on it. But it's definitely a song of the era. It's kind of doo-woppy in a little bit, in a little way. It's doo-woppy with the vocals and the harmonies and the way that they sang it, and even the music. But it still had a New Jack Swing style, kind of a hip hop vibe. And when you looked at the video was typical late 80s, early 90s, very colorful. They had on colorful outfits. And there was this sort of hue in the video where you could really see the colors in one part and it was black and white in the others. They had some sort of model-esque woman that was topless in a tub, taking a bath at part of the video and walking through the video. The guys were dressed in the typical street fashion of the day, very colorful. And then, of course, there is the infamous hip dance that they were doing, where they were swinging their hips like this. Dun, 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 dun. You know that hip swing. It's the same dance that most of us uncles do on the dance floor at any wedding whenever this song comes on. It's infamous. Everybody knows it. And the video, it has Gerald Levert not with the guys, just, clips of him here and there singing with the group. But the song, very memorable, very catchy, almost an instant hit. It was their biggest song, even though I wouldn't call them a one-hit wonder. It hit the number one spot on the R&B charts and peaked at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100, which means that it kind of crossed over a little bit, had a little bit of pop appeal. And today it's still played on adult contemporary radio. I hear it at least once every other week on the radio on our local adult contemporary station here in my home city. The lyrics aren't that deep, aren't very profound. There's not a whole lot of deep things in the song. It's just simply about a guy who's found a girl that really, really likes him. And she doesn't hide how much she cares for him because, according to the lyrics, it's written all over her face. And she doesn't have to say a word. She makes her love known by her disposition. And the guy talks about how lucky he is to find a woman like this. I know that I'm a very lucky guy to have someone like you. And that's really true because, we don't want to act like we like our partners more than our partners like us. And here he is having this girl just goo-goo gaga-eyed over him. And he sees the value in having this girl in his life because it's written all over her face. She don't have to say a word. And how much she cares about him. It's obvious. He doesn't have to guess. And to be quite honest, if you have someone in your life like that, you are quite blessed. You are very lucky because everybody doesn't have that. But that's what the song is about. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. So how do we get from the Rude Boys to adding value and inspiration to our lives? The scripture is Proverbs 15 and 13. I'm a very quiet person. I always have been. I tend not to speak out of turn, nor do I usually offer up unsolicited opinions. Keeping my mouth shut, even if I have to grit my teeth, is my usual method of operation. But apparently, I never have to say a word because my feelings must be written all over my face. There have been many church services in which things happen to either upset me or amuse me in some way. And I try hard to conceal my feelings. But after repeatedly locking eyes with my wife and seeing her mouth, fix your face. I've come to learn that without speaking, my facial expression and my body language reveal far more than my words. What's my point? In many ways, people can tell your testimony based on your disposition. You may think people don't know you, but they know more than you think. People can discern if you're happy with any given situation, such as a job or a relationship, because it's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. People can figure out your view regarding your life and circumstances because it's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. People can even tell how you really feel about them because many times it's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. Proverbs 15:13 says in the Amplified Version, a heart full of joy and goodness makes a cheerful face. But when a heart is full of sadness, the spirit is crushed. In other words, the condition of your heart rings loudly. The confession of your mouth means absolutely nothing if it's not also aligned with the state of your soul. I know the scripture says that God is the only one that looks at the heart. But sometimes we show our hand. Instead of fixing your face, God is wanting to help you fix your heart. No matter how good we are or think we are at masking our true feelings, we will all expose them eventually. Why not allow God into the deepest part of our emotions and allow Him to heal us thoroughly from the inside out? If we can trust Him with our physical and our spiritual needs, He can also be trusted with our emotions. And when He has fully healed our hearts, our smiles for Him will be better than any word we ever heard. It's written all over your face. Hey, you don't have to say a word. Thank you again for joining me. Throwbacks, the unexpected theology of old school hip hop and R&B. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of what I had to share. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want to appreciate you joining me. I want to also invite you to subscribe so that you can be notified every time we drop a new episode. Let somebody know, put a comment in the comment section, engage with this content, and let's build this community around this awesome music. If you want a copy of the book, make sure that you contact me at DerekJMurphy.com. Get you a copy of the book. Look for the Spotify link in the show notes. And if there's nothing else, be blessed.